Oh, you already know what time it is. It's that time of the year, right? We've come to an end. It's the 12th month of the Gregorian calendar. Everything's been done. You've slaved the whole year waiting for this moment. You get downstairs. It's that morning. You patiently waited all year. You log on your Twitter phone and you see the UKPR. I'm not talking about Christmas. Christmas is for children and babies and nothing else. If you are over 18, you are legally obligated to hate Christmas, but just enjoy the time off work, food, and alcohol if you drink that. But it is time for the UKPR. This is the most important thing of the year. Even if you don't think it is entirely the most important thing. Now, I have a few disclaimers to make. Okay, so don't skip this intro. Because I know somebody will be down in the comments being like, oh, Tom, you just like. No! Disclaimers. First of all, I did my very, very best to not miss people. Okay? Obviously, I'm going to miss people. I'm just one person. Okay? So if I missed you, I apologize, but you kind of hope that I got everybody, right? There's no demon in the northwest that I've missed, who's suddenly top-hated regen that I'm not aware of. Secondly, this is purely my opinion. I am not on the council, if there is even a council. I was speaking to Focus Miss at Den, and he was like, I'm not on the council anymore. I was like, what are you on about? How can you not be on the council? Rivals 2 has corrupted his brain. He is not salvageable. Like, okay, so this is my opinion. I have no inside scoop. I have a limited horse in this race. Okay, so anything is purely speculation and opinion based on a moderate amount of research that I did instead of actually doing work at work. Okay, so I'll break it down into little sections. Okay, but this is my opinion. Finally, if you skip all of this, every time you skip, you will get upset. Your chances of getting upset in your next tournament, tenfold. So if you skip 10 times, you're bound to get upset at your next tournament. So be a good person and just like do the dishes or just like do something else whilst listening to this, right? Because there's going to be a bit on screen. You know, I'm going to go through the Smashers apps. But yes, without delay, 3 minute, 10 second introduction. The UKPR as gone by me. Let's go. First section. People who are not going to be on the UKPR for a few reasons. Okay. First of all, in attendance, like you can see, Prinplup on the screen. Not really gone to a lot, and you can see the ranked ones only gone to 3 ranked events. I would imagine that the cutoff was for like 5 events in the year or whatever. So yeah, Prinplup, also Hollow and Lids. I don't think they went to enough because they were also on last year's PR. And so yes, those two. I couldn't find their tags. I've only just remembered it's Bruno Marth, but I could not find the other one. I couldn't not find Lids. Oh, it's Big Limbs and Tims. I hate it when people change their names. It's so hard to keep track of. Anyway, so yes, my second player, Scores. Scores has had a bit of a weird year. They're still good, but I think just a lot of people have overtaken him in sort of like skill wise. I think he needs to come up with something new for 2025. Because you got other people like doing a lot better. And that's not a knock against Scores. He's still doing very well. But I think having not talked to the guy at all, I think he probably wants a little bit more than what he is. He can do it. He's obviously got this win down here at the D tier. And Invasion was a normal event for him, and you can see a few things. But again, good wins this season. I know he got a win on Bloom. Tekka, obviously your standard Darkstalker win, but yeah, a bit of a lackluster year for him. I'm sure he'll be back in 2025, hungry for everything. But yeah, it's I don't think so. I don't think even an honorable mention. But that's just me. And then the last one, good old Gregius. Um, Again, had a good Smashmania. Won Smashmania 7, double eliminating Owl. That was kind of crazy. Beat Hollow as well. Rise was a really good event from them. I remember I was on the Isle of Wight at the time, or was I in Canada? I think I was in Canada, and I was like, I was doing some sort of museum tour, and I was watching Rise. No, I was definitely in Canada. Yes. And I was like, upset. It was like, oh, he's got Monday next. Ah, and then he beat Monday. I was like, all right, then he's got Soul Arts next. Oh, he beat Soul Arts. I was like, damn. Still needs to figure out this Link problem. Bro is clueless against Link. But really good. Well, good links. But yeah, Soul Arts and a Mondi win is crazy. Didn't have the greatest invasion. Watched him live against Moke. Man, you needed to calm down that set. And then obviously Regen. It looks like a terrible, not like a terrible placement, but an underperformance. But then it's like, damn, you kind of lost to a player. Nippin was really good at game 5, and you lost game 5 to a Pikachu as well. It struggled with Sin at Den of Dragons as well. But again, good wins on Owl this season. Soul Arts and Monday, all really, really good wins. And Bruno Mars, Hollow as well. So, yeah, those are my honourable mentions. Watch out for them next year, because I think they will definitely be in with a shout. I think, obviously, as the game goes on, people are sort of like peeling away from the game. You've seen that this year again. Like Primplap has not been playing as much. Hollow's not been playing as much. SBF has not been playing as much or at all really. So, you know, um, yeah. Shout outs to these guys. Um, I wish for a better 2025 for you guys. So yes, now let's move on to the top of the. We'll go top down because going bottom up is harder. There's no mystery here. Top down. We'll start with the top, who, in my opinion, I think it'll be Lugi this year. I think it's kind of happened for a little while. I think, again, obviously, I don't know Bloom at all, but I think they've been doing other things. Got a few more things going on. No, obviously, they're still good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think Lugi is probably going to take it this year. Um, I don't think anybody might. I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people would be on board with that, but I could be wrong. But Lugi. Generally, them, and Bloom or Bluegi, as I'm could happen. Bluegi could happen. Generally, the top two players in the UK have been for a while. They just keep getting better and better. So yeah, generally you don't see either of these guys getting upset, unless they're just like having a really really bad off day. I think Lugi's been a little bit more consistent. Obviously, Bloom's, Avalon wasn't great for Bloom, and obviously trying other things. UFA as well. They just tried other things, going random in bracket. Like skill wise, it's still probably Bloom, but I think Lugi's probably just got the edge. In terms of everything else, fantastic wins. Rafflo, Siskwi, 2 on Bloom, Lancelot, Tarek, Super Semi, you know, whoever Lugi plays, they'll probably win. Had a few blusters. I say busters. Um, ninth at Regen is classified as a buster for them, which is kind of crazy. But obviously that's the level that they play at. So, Overall fantastic wins, and not terrible losses as well. I mean, Regen, it was um, who was it at Regen? My magical thing will tell me in a second, but it's not going to be like Timmy 78 playing like Cloud as the 400th seed. It's going to be two players who are pretty good. Was it um so yeah, Mezcor and Leo and Mezcor. So again, not terrible upsets there. You lost to seed 1 and 11. So I think Lugi will probably take it over Bloom this season. Um, yeah, it's not exactly like Bloom's had a terrible year. Obviously, they won Invasion over Mutace and Siskri. Um, just generally just done wonderful things otherwise. Um, they won Invictus. Um, I remember watching this set. Um, it's sort of like, oh, I lost. Well, no, I'll try. And kind of destroyed Orion. So either way, whatever happens. So yeah, speaking of platinum events, obviously they were the Genesis X and got 33rd. Losing to Spargo and Jackal. Um, so I mean, these were both super close games. I remember watching this. Um, I'm sure it was game 5, or that might have been another tournament. And obviously, Lugi went to his that Supernova, I think, and lost to Kamemi and Leo. Oh, was that different? Okay, it must have been a different year. Definitely know they lost to Kamemi like 3-2. But that was again. Guess that was just a different event. Oh, Battle of BC, that was that. Whenever that was, it's crazy how time has flown. But yeah, Bloom and Lugi, obviously number 1 and 2. I don't think you'll be too surprised if that happens, but you know, whatever happens. Third place, I'm probably looking at Maze Beans. Um, Again, they've had a fantastic season this year. Um, Again, doing super well in whatever they've done, really. Um, Multiple wins on excellent players. Base Mage. I think everybody was there for that pop off. Siskri, it's an amazing win. Flo, Kerbo, Space, Lugi, Owl, Curry. Again, a veritable who's who of um, who of wins. They're still, in my opinion, of course, a little bit below Lugi and Bloom in terms of skill. There's like a little bit of a gap there. Because Maze Beans is a little bit more upsettable than those two, if that makes sense. Not by like mid-level players, but by like the players in the like the 5th to 15th, like the 5th to 10th range of like the PR. Like obviously they came second to Avalon, losing to Tekka, um, who double eliminated them. Um, so yeah, again, and that's not a bad loss. Like, but it's a loss that you probably wouldn't see in these two players, if you know what I mean. But still one of the third best player in the UK. Absolutely, in my opinion. Playing them is a nightmare. Their punish game's super strong. Of course, fantastic results wherever they go. They're kind of missing like a national win. Again, they could have had it at Avalon. They could have had it at thing, but I think they lost to a Big Boss twice. So again, which isn't the worst loss in the world. Um, but again, King Kong. Remember they played Base Mage here. That was crazy. Again, losing to Spargo and Orion for what 13? It's crazy. Such a good result. And again, look at all these wins: Siski, Longo, Base Mage, Trim. Like you are really fantastic. Like wins. So yeah, I think that's what Maze Beans sort of needs to do. Obviously, winning a national. You can win D tiers up in Scotland. It's just like doing it at like bigger events. Like one of these two would have been huge if you clutched up. But yeah. Gets my third place. So yeah, fourth place. I don't think anybody's going to be. It's a bit weird. Kerbo and Askro, like again, these kind of like interchangeable. Um, it's really interchangeable. These two again, they're both fantastic players. And sort of what separates them is razor thin, right? So uh, Kerbo gets seventh at SC at Grand Conquest. Um, Astria gets third at Avalon, right? So it's difficult to tell. 17th at Regen, and then I think Astro 25th at Regen, but they literally lost to like Siskri, Game 5. We've all seen the meme, and Vidad. Again, not a terrible loss. And then Siskri, Game 5. Ah, what a heartbreaker. I was not there in the crowd, but obviously I've seen the meme, and I will not be ashamed to admit that I went up to them at Avalon and pointed at them and said, "Oh my gosh, it's the guy from the meme." I took such pleasure in doing that. That was, I liked that. It was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, kind of can win D tiers. Mega Mayhem. I think they took that over Giggles and other players like Shanique. So I remember the Pokemon trainers swap. So again, capable of winning D tiers, and and then I guess top 8, top 4 in C tiers. So they just again like Maze Beans are like the next step up is like winning those nationals. Um, so yeah, not a terrible resume. Um, got 129th at Supernova. Um, Yoda Cage isn't a terrible loss. Mugen again, not a terrible loss. You lost to people who you were supposed to lose to. Um, but yeah, generally, fantastic wins. Sort of came out from nowhere, but we know this. Winning on Blooms, Modsai win is huge. Owl win is huge. Kerbo, Shanique, Tekka, all of these like really good players. Oh, and Youssef as well, who's probably like top 50 in Europe. So yeah, crazy. If only online results counted, right? That would be the kicker. Um, so yeah, and of course like losses. I don't think they got any terrible losses. That you're just like, wow, they got upset right round two. No, they're pretty consistent in again how they play and what they do. Um, so yeah, just doesn't want to show me what they did in Germany. It's not having it. Yeah, and once they get a little bit more experience and probably stop playing Samus and losers finals of a C tier. I don't know if the Samus worked. I'm guessing not. Um, oh, my internet is doo doo. Holy cow. But yes, and then of course Kerbo. Again, you sort of know who Kerbo is. Um, again, amazing resume. Um, won the D tier over here. Did well at Invasion, got seventh. Did well at Grand Conquest, again got seventh. Got fourth at Avalon. Probably losing to Tekka. Obviously, they got upset by Youssef and then went on a crazy run, beating Shanique, getting the run back, but losing to Tekka again. Um, so yeah, this is sort of what separates these three. Sort of separates from these two is that these guys win nationals, but these guys sort of like they can be upset, and they can not lose nationals, but they can be like they have to like really sweat to like try and beat and try and win. Um, but yeah, and again, good regen as well. 17th. Maze Beans and Carrot. Oh, you had to play Maze Beans. Oh, that's Braveheart Brawl. Um, yeah, again, like losing to Tekka. No, you lost to Tekka twice. Unfortunate. But a good win on Andres and a good win on Wombat. I remember watching that live. But yeah, guess yeah, to keep going really. I mean, fifth in the fifth in my opinion in the UK isn't too shabby. I know Kirby's doing well. Again, hugely underrated. Every time I watch like a Kirby video on YouTube, it's always about Jar and Gull Hugh. Never mentions Kirby. You know, these wins are insane. You know, Andres is an amazing win. Flo is an amazing win. Maze Beans, Astro, Curry, Tekka, and all this with Kirby, may I add. So yeah, absolutely fantastic player. Um, so yeah, I think fifth is a good place for them, and you know, not that I know Kerbo at all, but you know, I can imagine their determination will propel them up the tier list, and you know, next to the, you know, these five players are sort of like a cut above the rest. Generally, don't get upset at all. Um, Very rarely do they ever. So you're looking at these players every single time to be like, right, my top five are these guys. So yeah, that's my 1 through 5. And then we'll move on to the deadly duo. I'm going to call them the deadly duo, and you'll see why in a sec. Right, the deadly duo. So, who are the deadly duo? So these players, I think, are just sort of below, and I say below, but not by much. Um, the other players on the list. So my first, hold on. So yeah, my deadly duo are Tekka. I'm not going to leave Kendrick Lamar, too many syllables, and Shanique. Um, so these two, I think, in my opinion, of course, are sort of just underneath that little the top five. There's just sort of, but for different reasons, if you know what I mean. So Shanique is less upsettable than Tekka. He's generally more consistent. Um, rarely ever will you see Shanique lose to like somebody who's not very good. Like they're just fundamentally solid in what they do. Um, but sort of like winning events isn't sort of their forte, if you know what I mean. You'll generally see them not miss a top 8 in anything, you know, below 128. Um, but then winning the event is a sort of a challenge for them because they can struggle against some of the best players in the UK, especially those top 5. I mean, um, you know, the Palu comes out versus Maze Beans and that works. Astro gives them a bit of a hard time. But against everybody else, generally quite solid. I mean, obviously, the key thing for Shanique this year is definitely their regen run. I mean, ninth was, I think everybody in the building wasn't shocked, but I don't think anybody saw it massively coming, if you know what I mean. Um, it's kind of hard to, kind of hard to describe. Um, I mean, I don't know where all of these have gone, but hang on a minute, hold on. That is UFA. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I see what they did. Thanks. Thanks. So yeah, regen. Obviously, like the win on Siski was huge. Again, I just don't think anybody saw that coming. But Shanique has always got that like ability in them. Like they've always got that ability of the top player. They're never out against anybody, and they can win against anybody. Um, but obviously, yeah. I mean, look at this, crazy. You know, 3-0 versus the Schmix tape, 3-0 versus Shiski, and then Mezcall as well, and then you know taking a game of Gluto and losing to Solo. I mean, like these are like two of the best. Obviously, Gluto's like the best European player, or even second best if you want to go there. And then obviously Solo, who was on a mad tear that tournament. But like these wins are especially crazy. I mean, winning Inklings Hammers in 2024, like absolutely crazy. Um, and then their invasion run, I think, just exactly went to seed. They lost against Bloom, you know, which is absolutely acceptable loss. And then mirror, mirror on the wall when this loads will just tell me who else they lost to. But again, probably got some really good wins. But you can see like a Cisco win, Mezco win, Owl win, Astro. They lost to HD Trainer. Oh, crikey. Again, HD Trainer, not a terrible loss. Mazebean win. Kodiak win. I mean, generally just very solid in what they do. Had an okay Avalon. Bit of a disappointment, I guess, from their thing, but again, Astro and Kerbo. Um, Again, two people who, in my opinion, are ranked above them. So not a terrible Avalon thing. Again, considering everybody was getting upset at Avalon, it just sort of great for them to just not be upset. And again, another Longo win. So yeah, Chanique is amazing. Obviously, again, just that player who's very consistent in what they do, as long as their mental game is on point. But it's just not somebody who you think will like win something, if you know what I mean. Like they won't typically wait. They'll be poised to win a D tier, and they're always in contention for it. It just sort of like never amalgamates for them. But they're like too good to not be in the top 10 or top 7. And then Tekka is just like the opposite of Shanique. Like Shanique's a pillar of consistency, but never wins anything. But Tekka is like, I don't want to say inconsistent, but like will sometimes just randomly win stuff because which I guess is like what Young Link is encapsulates, right? It's like a character thing. Like Inkling is very consistent in what they do, and they're neutral, and so is Pyrometer and Palu. But like then you've got Young Link, who's like difficult to pilot over a long bracket because you've got to hit all of these like really tight niche confirms, and if you miss your like boomerang down air or your down tilt arrow up air at 110, now your opponent's at like 140, and you've got rage, and if you just get hit, you could just die because you're an absolute glass cannon. So like it's a bit of a weird one because you've got the technical ability to do it, and they're obviously an incredibly talented player, but your character is just like up and down, which makes it difficult to sort of like pilot over a long tournament. But obviously, the standout is obviously Avalon. That was crazy for them. Again, just got upset out of nowhere by Youssef. I think everybody watched that online. Why are you going off stage at 30 and your opponent's 140? Just ledge trap, man. Come on. Um, but then just absolutely just didn't stop losing. Eid was very upset about losing to Bloom and Tekka to 33rd. Again, beat Omen, beat Darkstalker, beat Sayori, um, beat Pizza Time, Joy-Con, Toe Jam, Kerbo again, Astro, and double eliminating Maze Beans for first on a crazy losers run. That's very very good. And again, like conceptually, if they played like this all the time, they would be they'd be so much higher on the list. Not that like sixth or seventh is a terrible spot. I think sixth is what they got last year. Question mark? Maybe maybe they got fifth. Um, I'm not looking it up. Um, so yeah, but again, apart from that, Regen was a bit of a disappointment for them. 65th. Obviously, Sunday morning at 11, you do not want to play the Simon Belmont, and then they went into losers and played Fairess, which is the Zelda, and that matchup's probably again very annoying if you've never played as a good Zelda before, and obviously the UK doesn't have any. So that's going to be a bit difficult. Obviously, you got Invasion. Again, they showed up at Invasion. They beat Owl, I know. Struggling to think who else they did well at. But again, I'm sure they had an amazing game. +4 SPR, going absolutely crazy. And again, wins on pretty much all of the top talent in the UK. They lost to Zone. No, that's Dead Zone. Out of nowhere. Thanks, Smashers app. But again, wins on Kerbo, 4 on Maze Beans, Owl, Astro, Hollow, Zone, and all of these players, who are at the top and the higher echelons of thing. Again, oh, they lost to Siskry and Bloom for fifth. Damn, like, well, you lost to fourth and second seed for fifth. Like that's kind of rough. But again, good wins on Carnage, Kerbo, Owl, Maze Beans. A fantastic event for them all year, all round, really. And again, always a player that's just like in contention for win anything. Can just randomly win. But then, in my opinion, can just as easily sort of like not perform, as you can see, like very up and down. But again, I think that's due to the character more so. Again, like, not entirely sure who that is, but 3-2 to Palo. It's kind of rough, and then a Min Min in a French Min Min, like, difficult. Again, I don't know whether Shanique or what order you want to put these in. It really depends on what you prefer. Do you prefer Tekka's like ways of just winning things randomly, but suffers with the suffers with randomly being upset, or do you sort of prefer Shanique's consistency, but knowing that they're not really usually winning something? I don't know. It all depends. Um, so yeah, those are my deadly duo. They're the sort of just above, just below the top five, but I think they're a step up from all the other players, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's those two. I think the next person I want to go to is Curry. Um, hasn't really done a lot this year, like in terms of um, sort of like UK wise. I think they've been taking it kind of easy. But again, they kind of like show up and then just remind people how good they are. But everybody knows that, right? So a lot of these D tiers are up in the north. You've got Overleveled, you've got Balrig, you've got King of the Hill, which I think they won literally a few days ago. Like what? Monday, Tuesday, Monday, 3 days ago. Um, so usually in the north, kind of free for the curry. He just turns up and he's like, getting paid today. Um, because the north just doesn't really have players who can challenge him that well. Um, oh, that's the Genesis. I might as well cover this now. Obviously, 65th at Genesis, losing to Tweak and Onin. Like, wow. I mean, you got Onin for the top 64. Ouch. And like that's kind of stupid. Um, and obviously Tweak is Tweak. So I don't think anybody's going to bat an eyelid at your results there. Again, some of these over leveled and ball rigs, not probably not the most challenging of brackets for them. I can imagine only like Lito, Joy-Con, maybe like Toe Jam are up there attending these of like the top players. Um, Up in the north ones. Oh, SBF turned up. I did not know that. Oh, Kareem was there. The goat. Okay, I'll take that back. My apologies. Um, Zia just turns up to D tiers in the north. Generally wins. Did super well at the P tier that they went to. I'm gonna call this the slight flub thing, but I know that they lost to like I think it was Trim and no, it wasn't Trim. It was the other Mega Man. No, it was Trim. It was like Space and Trim. That they lost to at Grand Conquest. I haven't seen Curry's Crom in a while. I think the Crom is dead on arrival. I think the character is dead on arrival. Um, oh no, it was Trim. You can see them there. Oh, so yeah, yeah, lost to Trim and Kerbo with wins on Astro and Nathan Burnecrust and Benathan. Again, really, really good event for them, even though, probably, I think, probably seeded just for clashes. And then Regen, I know, was a bit of disappointment for them. They lost to the Rapid, the Irish. That's Braveheart Brawl. Second there. Octave just lost to Maze Beans in the true finals. Again, beat Kerbo. Regen, they lost to Rapid, and then Pyron, the Sephiroth. A little bit of an underperformance there. It is what it is. But definitely still somebody who can take sets of the best in the UK. Will always pretty much farm the northern events. We'll just turn up and be like, just here to collect my prize money. 64 entrants, £5 each. I win 60% of that. It's a nice £192 for playing Cloud in Smashy Brothers. So yeah, I think probably Curry is number 7, 8, 8. I would say. So yeah. Right, let's rapid fire a few more of these. So this goes up to like the top 13. So I'll cover a lot more people just in like a different order. So Wombat, again, potentially anywhere. All of these players after Curry are just sort of in the mishmash of you could be placed anywhere from like 9th to 13th. So yeah, Wombat. Depending on whether they make the list or not, based on the criteria. I don't know what they do with Northern Irish and Irish people. Not for me to discuss. But yeah, probably somebody who could be here. They had a decent invasion. 13th was pretty good. And then they lost to Zone and Kerbo. That is Tarek. That is not. I love it when you click on something and it shows you the wrong one. There we are. Yeah, they lost the Zone. I remember that. Everybody was up on their feet. Everybody was hyping everything up for that. It was a great set to watch. So yeah, and then obviously losing to Kerbo again. Two fantastic losses really. For 13th invasion. So amazing from then. They sort of, from what I understand, they pretty much win most things in Ireland, if not come second or occasionally get upset for third. But again, probably Northern Ireland or Ireland's best player. I don't know where they live. You'll have to excuse me on that. But the last thing they went to looks like in September. So they've been pretty inactive for the last 3 months. So yeah, and then obviously Regen was a bit of a flub. Thank you. Regen was a bit of a flub for them. Obviously, losing to Solo is nothing to scoff at. But obviously, the Moon upset. I don't know whether they were just like tilted or anything. But yeah, Moon got a really really good win there. And the 65th at Regen probably a little bit disappointing for them. But again, that's Donkey Kong, isn't it? But beat Pele. Please don't hug your parents after beating Pele. Beat Soul Arts is a fantastic win. Hope is a fantastic win. So is Utopian, and then obviously a lot of the Irish best players. It's difficult to know because obviously they don't interact a massive amount with the UK scene. Obviously they come over for Invasion and Regen, but that's 2 events in a year, which is hard to sort of rank them. So so yeah, I'm not sure why this has a flag for the England. That was an Irish event. So yeah, probably Wombat. So yeah, Owl is next. Owl I think will forever be on here. I think they haven't attended things this year as much. Lord knows I've tried. Obviously they went for Eyes back in March, where they got second to being double eliminated by Lugi in literally game 5 grands. But again, scoring some fantastic wins on the way. I think everybody knows Owl is sort of a sleeper, but just doesn't play a lot these days. Um, I would like you to load now. Obviously, won Smash Mania 6, second at Smash Mania 7 that happened last month. But yeah, lost to Maze Beans, got the run back on Maze Beans, beat Shanique, beat Darkstalker, beat Tekka, beat Mondi. So like when they're on form, they're on form. But again, just didn't really massively attend much. Had a bit of a, again, air quotes flub invasion. That's well, I'll talk about regen. Thanks, I clicked on invasion, but whatever. Obviously, fantastic wins here. Phoenix, Octave losing to Tarek is can't be upset about that. And then just a little bit of an underperformance against Deep Freeze, but Deep Freeze went on a bit of a tear. And then obviously Invasion beat Tekka. I lost to Tekka, sorry. And then obviously lost to HG Trainer, who again was playing super well that day. Um, but yeah, again, still better the results than a lot of the people below. A lot of the similar results to the people around here. But depending on whether this qualifies for attendance. But I think I'll make it. Giggles, you know him, you love him. Will jump on here somewhere. Just sprints around everywhere, causing absolute mayhem wherever they land. Um, fantastic results. Mostly, like again, somebody who can win tournaments, win D tiers. Consistently places top 8. Um, with a few blusters here and there, but that's due to the nature of things. Bit of a disappointing regen. Um, I think they lost to Fizma, the Luigi, who randomly popped off at regen of all things. Like, is like 1 and 2 in like a Monday meltdown, and then was like, I will just get like 49th at regen casually. So that's that was fun. Um, I don't think anybody saw that coming. But yeah, good wins. Um, I'll do that while this is waiting to load. Smash Bros. That really needs to get its act together. Win on Bloom. I think that was at UFA. So yeah, Neros and Fizma. I mean, like with a win on Dodgers, which was good. UFA. I think they got double eliminated by literally Pikachu and Pichu. I think it was Nate or you, and then somebody else. Well, one of the Pikachu's. If it's not Neros, it was. I would imagine it was Enki. Smash his app. What are you doing? No. Let's close some of these. Hopefully that'll work. There we are. Ah, it was Eco Palu, but win on Bloom, win on Anes. So yeah, good stuff there. Invasion had a pretty good invasion. I remember they beating James 102 on stream. Um, they lost to Maze Beans on stream as well. Again, not terrible losses here. Like you're not losing to like terribly bad players. It's just sort of like you know you lose every now and then, but everybody knows that losers giggles is the one. Losers giggles is the one that really matters. And again, 2024 Pelly win. It was great. Bloom, Shanique, Zone again, Astro, Jez, Tekka again, Anes, Sisto, me, twice, Armhead, and obviously 5. So yeah, Giggles will make it. Um, so yeah, Azalea. I don't think anybody's going to be remiss if they won't be here. Again, did quite well this season. I think Grand Conquest was the one I think that most people will remember them for. The space game, it still hurts my soul to these days. If you know, you know. Ah, good Zanati win. Losing to Flow in space for 13th is sucks. An average invasion. They asked Andres, and then obviously Rusky, who seeded 50th, but 7th best in Texas at the time. May I add? decided to be like, yeah, we'll see them 50th. All right then. Um, so yeah, one of front runners. Didn't have a great regen, admittedly. Um, but they'll make it again. Lost to again, not terrible losses. That was front runners. Come on, man. Again, Nato, you and Fanny, not terrible losses. Both top 64 seeds. So it's not exactly like it was a massively underperformance. But again, Avalon was kind of like weird for them. It was weird for everyone. Shonic just decided to do my own boy Kringle Fist and then beat Kodiak and lost to Soul Arts. But again, everybody was getting upset that day at Avalon. It was a bit wild. Um, so yeah, I can imagine that they probably might be on the lower end of the tents. But never know. Again, Bloom win, Tekka win, um, Sayori win, two Kodiak wins, and these guys. So not bad good wins. Sorry. Again, just a bit inconsistent overall, but I think most people will put them on there. And we're doing win a Suffolk Smash as well. I think they won over Gris. Um. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Oh, they won over Tekka, which was which was good wins. Um. So yeah, and then obviously the last one is Kodiak. Obviously, I think most people will remember them for the Grand Conquest. I think they got fifth at Grand Conquest. They just sort of beat everybody at Grand Conquest, including the Kerbo win. So yeah, there it is. That's probably the one that most people are going to remember from this year. That is Invasion. Thank you very much. It's clearly Grand Conquest that I clicked on. So yeah, I mean, a win on Primplop, lost to Lancelot, beat Honeyo, beat Octave, beat Soul Arts, beat Kerbo, and then double eliminated by Lancelot for fifth. So fifth at a seat here. I mean, you're laughing all the way to the bank. To be fair, won the Warwick thing over like Darkstalker and everybody else. So yeah. And then again, front runners wins. We love front runners wins against Sayori. Um, that's that Sunday showdown. Thanks. Again, over not Astro Mondi, sorry. And again, big wins on what's his face, Michael Jackson. Sorry, I've been going for quite a while. And then obviously the flip side of the coin, a bit of an underrating Invasion, but again, um, Invasion was weird because they got put in the path of Rusky Nerd, again, who upset myself, Azalea, and Kodiak. So, not a terrible loss. And again, Shanique, again, not a terrible loss. Bit of an underperformance at Regen. Only Y1 seed though. I mean, Rua is the Irish player. I can't remember what their original tag was, but yes, they were the best player in Ireland for a while, and I think they're like second or third now. And then obviously Gogesta is top 33 seed, so a little bit of an underperformance, but not massively. And again, Avalon was just stupid. I remember watching this live. Pizza Time was going crazy, and then to play Azalea for 25th was absolutely nuts. So yes, so these are like the sort of like the 8th to 7th to 15th seeds, 13th seed. Sorry. So the next lot is the final part where I just discuss who the third, probably the 14th and 15th slots. Who's going there? So stay tuned for that. And then finally we have these lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players who are like you could probably nick the last two spots. But all of these players are sort of like very good. They've done really well this season, but they're just not as sort of they're just not they haven't like potentially had crazy runs at all. or they've like been massively inconsistent or just not attended super much. So yeah, we'll start off with Zone, just because they're on the page. I mean, Zone had a fantastic start to the season. Um, I think everybody remembers, um, at the beginning they started doing quite well. Invasion was very very good for them. Again, a slight underperformance, but fifth. I mean 17th was pretty good. Um, and then again, just turns up at D tiers really. Didn't go to regen, so couldn't really get a beat on that. But again, you got the Warwick win, the Warwick win, Magical Railroad, beating Tekka twice, beating Kodiak. So again, good wins there. Melody, where they got second, I think they lost to maybe Giggles. Yeah, they lost to Giggles. But again, an Astro win, a Bruno Marth win, I'm just hollow win, and another Tekka win at D tier is fantastic. Rise, where they did super well. Um, Again, an Azalea win, solid gamer win, um, and a Greg win. So they turn up at the D tiers in London, that they do pretty well. At the bigger tournaments, they haven't massively shown up, but they didn't go to regen. Um, but yeah, and again, 17th at Invasion, again, still not too bad. Losing to Siskry and Primplup. So, again, in the grand scheme of things, not terrible. I beat Rusky Nerd, who, 7th in Texas at the time, by the way. Still not bitter. I'm maybe a little bit bitter. But yeah, we'll see if that propels them into the again. Could nick the last spot. Again, solid wins here. So yeah, who have we got? We've got Ben Nathan. I hope I say it's Ben. It is Ben Nathan. Who's done really really well this year. Sort of had a come up. I think Regen was the one that I think he sort of realised that it was like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got this. So you can see at the start of the year, did well. On the Wyvern, did well in Scotland. Went to Grand Conquest and got 25th, which is decent placing. Losing to Soul Arts, and that is Wyvern's lair. Thanks very much. Losing to Curry Governor and Mondi. Again, not terrible losses. The Curry Governor, obviously, we've discussed. Mondi we'll talk about in a minute. Again, really good win. Invasion, a little bit of an performance from them. Uh, um, Tigerton was a little bit of a scuffed loss. I watched that on, and then Sisto. I mean, losing to 13th for for 33rd. It's kind of rough. Kind of a dead run in terms of wins, but apart from that, you know, 33rd is a decent placing. Went over to Ireland and did pretty well. Um, Vertex is always somebody who's underseeded massively. They always sit massively underseeded Vertex, and they always upset somebody. So, yeah, and then losing to Rapid for ninth, again, not too bad. But it's sort of like the second half of the year where Ben really picked up. Like obviously the regen result, um, the Diddy Plong, the regen one was the one where you sort of looking at them and go, ooh. Avins is a good win, nice top 64 win. Lost to Space, not too bad. Didn't get any more top 64 wins, but obviously Rua um, upset somebody who I talked about not too long ago. So yeah, I mean, although Rua was seeded 76, that's still like a good win. Oh no, they beat Rua. That's a great win. I think they were underseeded, and then obviously Elite Tweet for 33rd. It's a rough. You lost to the Dutch there, but again, an upset on Vins. Beat Rua. Fantastic wins really, and again, really respectable losses because I think obviously Space is Space, and Elite Tweet I think is like top 10 in the Netherlands. So yeah, and amazing. And then they only really picked up from there. Went to Redacted and got second. That is Braveheart Brawl. Smashes that app. Went to Redacted. Lost to Nurse Kives are in true finals, but nicked a set of them in grands. Beat Wombat. Beat Dimitri. Beat James 102. beat Real again, beat Adventure, beat my boy Gimp Biscuit. So yeah, really turned up in the second half. Had a slow start, but a really ramped up in the second half, and then obviously ended it with a ninth at Avalon, beating Bloom and scores on stream. Um, Only losing to Toe Jam, to Snake and Kerbo again, which was again rough. I mean, losing to Kerbo for ninth is kind of rough. So good wins from them. They might nick it, but I think like the beginning of the year was a bit too slow for them. But we shall see with time, obviously, what happens. Who we got next? We got Michael Jackson, the man, the man themselves. So yeah, you got Darkstalker. Obviously, you know what Darkstalker does. Formerly on the PR, I think they were PR last season as well. Um, so yeah, always a good sign. Again, just does London things, goes to London events, does well in London, picks up lots of good wins in London. Um, so yeah, every front runners you will always see, pretty much always see them. Um, Again, top eight is everything. Although I haven't spoken about this obviously, but the red arrows don't mean that it was a bad event. Obviously, they lots of things happen. So, but fourth, top eights galore in all the details. Fifth at Rise. I mean, Rise was a really stacked bracket. I mean, that was a terribly hard bracket. Rise too. I didn't go because I was in Canada. Um, but yeah, that was an ugly bracket, and to get top eight at Rise too was a tremendous achievement. And you can see down here the wins they have. Azalea is a really good win. Obviously, we've talked about them. Sayori or Mr. What's that Haruhi, is an amazing win because they've been on fire. Zone, obviously, Arch Nemesis, Scores and Soul Arts. So yeah, didn't go to regen, which might hurt them, but did, got 33rd at Invasion. So yeah, I mean, lost to Lugia and Owl for fifth. Like, ouch. Picked up zone wins, picked up solid game around a giggles win, and my boy Electric Beth Puff UK. So yeah, generally, just had a really really good season. Um, Probably not as good as last season, but I think they've just been doing other things with their time, which is perfectly valid. So yeah, could nick it. The next one is it's me. Hey, I mean, I'm gonna say that I had a decent season, had a decent year this year. Didn't do too badly. Um, like in terms of everything, like front runners. My only front runners I went to, I got second, and I lost to Giggles and Spritzy. For second. Um, Beat Darkstalker there as well. And then like I said, lost to Giggles. I beat Tekka as well. So I lost to Giggles in winners quarters, then went down to losers, beat Tekka, beat Darkstalker, beat Giggles, and then obviously lost to Spritzy 3-2 in the end. So yeah, that was my run. Not too bad. Then that was the Canadian local. I'm technically undefeated in North America, by the way. I'm undefeated in tournament in North America. Um, um, so yeah, Invasion. I got put in the path of Rusky Nerd, who was seventh in Texas at the time. I had with wins on Light and uh and Mutates, by the way. Yeah, come on, beat Joy Kong, lost to Maze Beans and Rusky Nerd for 33rd. Like, oof. Um, so yeah, Brentwood Brawl again got top eight here. I got a zone win here, but again I lost to Askro and Bloom for seventh, which again is really really rough when you're trying to like get into these top eights and like get into like the further brackets. And again, this is what sort of separates the players down here from the last section, because the players in the last section are able to beat these players, but players like myself just sort of like struggle. We just sort of hit the wall, and that's about it really. Um, I'll go away. Right, I beat Zone. I lost to Bloom and Astro for seventh. Regen is probably my crowning achievement in my just Smash history. Um, that was the run. And what I think what you would call a fairy tale run is what it was. Um, I had never been to an event this big before. This was my biggest tournament that I'd ever attended. You know, beat round one, beat round two, um, beat Blue Sky, not good top 64 win. Beat Kent, beat Tekka, again another top 64 win. Got 8 stocked in 8 minutes by Gluto, and then upset another top 64 seed in Janos. Um, Both of these players are top 50 in France, by the way, and then I've managed to nick a game of Super Semi before falling for 25th. Low key, my bracket was harder than anybody else's. Like you saw Ben Nathan's like bracket, like Vins, and then no other top 64 seeds. Although Rua probably should have been. I had to sweat through three top 48 seeds. I had like 35th seed, 30th seed, and 42nd seed, and I lost to Gluto and Super Semi for 25th. Bro, like I lost to two top 10 European players for 25th. Like that is like the worst bracket luck ever, right? I'm saying it. The worst bracket luck ever. And then I won Den of Dragons in October. I beat Kareem twice to take that. Fluffed at Smashmania. I lost to Youssef and Ifta, sort of gave up. And then Avalon was a standard run from me. Um, if you think this run looks familiar, it's because it is. I lost to Joy-Con. I beat Joy-Con like I did at Invasion, and then lost to Maze Beans like I did at Invasion. It was literally my Invasion run all over again. And then I beat Scores, and then I lost to Giggles. So, a standard run. But again, standard run for Avalon it wasn't too bad actually because, you know, everybody got upset. Everybody got upset at Avalon. Everybody in their nan got upset. So, yeah, I mean, I can throw my hat into the ring. Giggles win, Janos win, two Taka wins, two Joy-Con wins, two Kareem wins, Scores and Zone and Blue Sky and what's his face? I'm not calling him Michael Jackson. Darkstalker, could get me there. We shall see. Next one, Mr. WhatsApp, Haruhi. Um, Again, has a really, really good 24 season in 24. Done amazingly well. Gone to a few sort of bigger tiers, like mostly just known for like beating people at Meltdown. But yeah, like obviously started off the year with an 8th at front runners. Obviously losing to Darkstalker and Tekka. Not terrible losses. Did really well at Rise. 13th at Rise is pretty good. Why have they got a Waymas win? When did they play Waymas? Gosh, I haven't heard that name in ages. Yeah, when it loads. Yeah, lost to Cloaked, beat Giggles, lost to Mondi. Again, not too terrible losses. 5th at that Blast Zone. Again, lost to Maze Beans and Loogie with Zone, Arch Nemesis, and Solid Game wins for 5th. It's absolutely incredible. A bit of an underperformance at Regen by the looks of it. 65th. Probably for their first tournament that size. Again, I don't know Mr. WhatsApp whatsoever, so that was front runners. Thank you for a round of front runners over there. Mr. Big Boss at MK Big Boss and judges for 49th, which is a bit of a rough draw. Obviously, Big Boss not expected to win that. Dodgers, again, probably a bit underseeded there, but 65th isn't the worst. Didn't have any top 64 wins is probably like the only criticism. But again, had a standard Avalon. Probably lost to who they were supposed to lose to, and then probably met Tekka in losers. But you can see Tekka win this year. Mondi win, Giggles win, Arch Nemesis, Kareem, Darkstalker 2 zone wins, and the old divorce settlement, aka Mr. Gaia, and then just want the front runners. It's just gone. Yeah, Astro and yes, I watched the Astro one live. Again, Astro and Tekka wins. So if they don't nick it, they'll probably get an honourable mention. But I'm imagining next year they'll come full force. Mondi, and then obviously Kareem. So Mondi has not done much in the second half of this year. I think they front loaded all their wins at like the beginning of this year, and then sort of like stopped attending a lot. So yeah, as you can see, 5th at Front Runners, 17th at Grand Conquest, 5th at Melody, 13th at Rise, losing to Greg or Gris. So yeah, I mean, generally just good results. 8th, top 18 sort of all of these D tiers. Bree at London, the South, Kent ones. 95th and 97th at Regen, probably not great for them. I know they lost to Kareem for top 64. I think they lost to Kareem 3-2. But again, it's difficult because it's probably Mondi's first like big event. And it's such a difficult and different sort of thing. Yeah, Kareem beat Sluck, and then got Steved. Again, good wins. Astro, Kodiak, which is a good one. 2 on Tekka, Carnage, Darkstalker, Ben, Haruhi. So yeah, some solid wins. They might nick it. If not, I think if they, just had that one good event next year, definitely can do it. And then obviously my last pick for this sort of range is Kareem, because obviously they've been doing super well up in the north. So yeah, as you can see, top 18 sort of all the D tiers, doing super well. 17th at Grand Conquest, pretty good for a C tier. That was. Let's start with Regen, all right. They lost to Leo and GoGester. Two top, a 33rd seed and the first seed for 49th is really rough, and obviously losing to beating Mondi in the way. Oh, Shonic got 65th. Damn, shout outs to Shonic. You guys been putting in work. Grand Conquest, there we are. Lost to Lancelot, took a game off Lancelot, beat Vec, beat Primplup, which is fantastic. It was a very good win. And losing, damn, they lost to Roy. Double Roy for 17th. Damn. Poor Kareem. And then obviously second at Den of Dragons, losing just to myself. And then again Avalon, where they got 17th. But again, everybody got sort of upset there. Nathan Bone Crush again. Were they PR last year? I have a feeling they were. If not, they did super well at the beginning of the year. And then obviously losing to Sayori or Mr. Haruhi for top 24. Oh, Flory, come on. Oh, I remember you tweeting about this, losing to Kareem 3-2 every time. Come on, Flory, clutch up. So yeah, so when all put together, said and done, that's sort of my tier list. So Lugi in first, Bloom in second, Mazebean's third. Go away. Askro and Bloom, Astro and Tekka. No, Astro and Kerbo. 4th and 5th, depending on what you want to do. and then Tekka and Shanique for 6th to 7th. 18th to 13th, I think Curry, and then anybody in this order. I might put Curry up here. We change things mid game. And then 9th, 13th, these guys. And then 14th and 15th, any two of whoever of these guys, right? And then honorable mentions will probably just go to anybody in this range. So that's my take on the PR. So thank you very much for listening, for me waffling on, and smashes that unfortunate bugginess. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Again, all my own opinions. Enjoy, and I'm curious to see how right I was when the time comes. Yes, thank you very much for your time, and see you later. Bye bye.